Okay, these guys want you on because of your weightlifting prowess.
Yeah, apparently something like that.
Is that why, Nick?
I guess so. That's where we originally met James. When did I first meet you, James? Was it like freshman or sophomore year for me?
Yeah, it'd been like 2 years ago.
Yeah, so it was like I guess you were probably a senior then, I guess.
Yep, I think I was a senior when you were a freshman.
So what'd you like do for like your degree? Or all I only know is that James lifts a lot of weight, and I see it on his Instagram too.
Right, for sure. Yeah, no. So I went to DC, graduated my degree in exercise science and with a concentration in strength and conditioning. So basically, what I do in the gym is what I did in school here. So.
Oh no, kidding! Cool, I didn't know that.
Yep,
that's cool. Interesting.
Yeah, and you're currently the track and field coach?
Yep, I'm the assistant throws coach for the track and field program, along with what I do over in admissions as well. So
sweet. Well, that's cool. Yeah. So when did you meet James, Jess?
Kind of like unofficially through esports, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, we didn't play the same game. What game did you play?
I was a part of the Hearthstone team that we had here.
That's what I was thinking.
Was there like a big rivalry?
No. There was
the Hearthstone people are coming in.
No, I just didn't know anybody because I was a freshman. So I'm like, hey, this is cool.
Yeah. That was like first year's esports. Our Hearthstone team actually did insanely good. They beat like Harvard or something, I remember.
Yep. We ended up, so my senior year was the first year we had esports. And myself and 2 other guys on the team, we ended up qualifying for nationals, and we ended up taking... I remember we top 16 in nationals. I don't remember. I think it was like 14 or 13 or something like that. But
that's so
national
cool, though. That's
crazy.
Cool.
Yeah, it was a wicked awesome experience.
That's sweet.
I don't even know what that is anyway.
Hearthstone. Yeah, it's like a board game, I guess.
Board game.
It's a virtual card game.
Oh, yeah, you know what? I think I saw that when we were in there taking pictures. I think that's what they were playing.
Oh yeah,
it was
definitely was. I remember that picture. Yeah.
Oh, do you remember that picture?
When you guys came in and took them, yeah, because someone came in and was like, "Oh, we're gonna take some pictures." I'm like, "Okay, cool." Gotta not act like a silly goose.
I knew you were in the pictures, but
yeah,
you're not in the pictures, are you, James? That we took?
I think
maybe
he might have been.
I think
in the back
he was.
row,
Yeah.
No,
I swear he was. Yeah, I swear.
I'll have to go and look. No way. What are the odds of that? I think I just used that picture recently.
There was one guy, CJ, in it, who I remember, and you must have been in that because that was Hearthstone. So
how do you guys remember that? That was like 5 years ago.
Because that was like one of my first, what I think was like such a cool experience. I just joined a team as a freshman, and I'm like, oh, there's pictures being taken. That's cool. I thought it was pretty neat.
And then you're like, man, that guy running the photographer around, he seems like a pretty cool dude.
Yeah.
I want to hang out with him every Wednesday.
The nerd glasses and everything. That's the nice, yeah.
Man, you have just been busting my chops since you came back for spring.
You stole my Philly band over there.
Do you want it back?
I do want it back.
Yeah, you catch it. Hey, he caught it. Did you catch it?
I did, yeah.
No, that's pretty impressive. So, James, I got one thing about throwers. So, I've interviewed throwers for a long time. So, if you don't know, throwers, they do the shot put, and then what else do they do?
We throw disc, weight indoor, and then javelin and hammer outdoor.
What do you mean by weight?
Weight is the indoor version of the hammer throw.
Okay.
So it's a heavier implement. So guys 35 pounds, women's 26, I think. And basically, it's just, if you've ever seen the hammer throw where it's basically like the ball on the metal wire, that's kind of what it looks like, except it's a lot shorter because we're indoor.
So I just have a question about throwers. Can you confirm or deny or plead the fifth that throwers are the most outrageous bunch on the track team?
Yes, without a doubt.
Without a doubt?
Absolutely.
Yes, I can confirm that as well. Like I said, I've been interviewing them for a long time, and they are the rowdiest bunch of people I think I've ever seen.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely. He's got this smile on his face that just tells you there's stories there that he doesn't want to share with us.
Oh, no. Maybe for another time.
Okay.
The session after hours.
The session after hours. Exposed.
Yes.
So, Nick, when you're working out and James walks in, do you like, I'm going to lift more than him today?
If I could, I'd say yes. I think I'm getting closer to his weights, but like it's kind of more like I give him a nod. I'm like, hey, yeah, what's up, dude? Yeah, and he's giving
like
him
a
a little
big brother?
respect nod, that kind of thing.
Really? You can't lift more than James?
James he's got. Well, we could talk about our PRs.
What's that mean for people who don't know?
It's personal record or personal best PB.
Well, that'd be PB.
I've been lifting for probably like 4.5 years, technically 4. How long have you been lifting, James?
In the grand scheme of lifting, it's been a very relative short time. As far as lifting goes, I guess you could say I've been lifting since my freshman year of college, so since 2015, so going on 7 years now. But as far as I compete semi-professionally in powerlifting, and I've been doing that now for about training for that specifically for about 3 years now.
No kidding?
So
That's so
Good
cool.
for you. Now, you guys do that. Do you guys do that too?
I've thought about it. I just don't really know what's all involved, especially if it's like pretty costly. I don't know what the cost.
You have a resource.
Are there any like specific costs involved? Like how expensive is it?
It really just depends. First and foremost, in order to be a part of a powerlifting association, you have to pay for membership, and on average, membership ranges for most organizations anywhere from like $80 to $150.
Oh, that's not bad.
And that covers the year. And then you're looking at having to pick your meets for the year and pay for those, and then your meet is going to cost anywhere between, realistically, if you're doing a full power meet, so your squat, your bench, and your deadlift, you're looking at probably anywhere again from $80 to $150 for a meet. Not to mention the travel expenses, and then just a lot of people don't understand. When you're training for powerlifting, there's a lot that goes into it. First and foremost is your equipment. I mean, if you're looking at getting some of the better equipment out there, you're going to be paying, upwards of, $150, $200 for a weightlifting belt, upwards of $30 to $50 for wrist wraps for bench, and anywhere between probably $80 to $120 for knee sleeves. And then not to mention if you were to, kind of alter the shoes you wear. The fact that you need to purchase a singlet because that's the only thing you can compete in. Long deadlift specific socks. There's a lot of minor things. I think typically on average it costs a power lifter just to get set up and started in your first meet. I'd probably say it'd run you close to $2,000 to start out.
No
You
kidding.
have everything except the singlet.
Right, which
Yeah.
that definitely
Yeah, that
helps.
helps, yeah.
If you're an avid lifter, the hope would be by the time that you're going to commit to this, you've kind of accumulated most of that by then.
Oh
It
yeah,
would
definitely.
would definitely be the
Yeah.
hope.
Actually,
So you
just
have
got a
most
new
of
belt. Yeah.
Okay.
Me as well. Yeah, I've got like belt, sleeves, wraps, stuff like that. Yeah.
So these socks, you have special socks?
Yep. So in order to
seems strange.
deadlift in competition, just because of health reasons, normally like if you're deadlifting, quote unquote correctly, that bar should be pulling right against your shins and your thighs. And for some guys and girls, they're gonna pull pretty hard into themselves, and that usually causes deadlift scrapes, causes bleeding, torn skin. And so as health reason, they want you to wear long socks, and so your deadlift socks have to go pretty much almost up to your knee.
Are they like armor plated? Armor plated, silly, but I mean, are they like protected?
Nope, they're just your
just socks?
conventional
Kinda wearing pants,
conventional cotton socks.
Huh?
Yeah.
You can't wear pants in a semi-professional.
Don't believe. No, I think the singlet might be the standard, but when I train, I just wear pants because then that saves my shins.
Like
Right.
sweatpants or something.
Yeah, and in terms of like the deadlift, so you're lifting the bar up off the ground, whether you're doing that as a conventional or sumo stance.
So we should explain what a deadlift is.
Yeah, so a deadlift is when you have the bar on the ground with however much weight. You're going to either assume like a neutral foot stance, and then you're going to basically just stand up with it with proper
Now,
form.
you mean I bend over to the floor, the weight is on the floor, and I pick up the weight off the floor.
Pretty much like squatting down, yeah.
Okay.
So you just squat down and then kind of grab it and pick it up. But
Not everybody understands weightlifting.
of course, yeah. So that's a deadlift, but basically, the way you do it is with proper form and leverage. Is that you want to pull that directly up, and you're as close to the bar as possible. Otherwise, you're just bending over with your back to pull a bar.
So what muscles is it supposed to work, James?
This is going to work. This is a lot of people will tell you that the deadlift is a full body movement. I mean, we're talking about, substantial amount of weight hanging on your shoulders, your back, your low back, your hips, your glutes, and your quads and your hamstrings, and pretty much everything in between.
So if you're doing it wrong, you're messing up your back.
Yeah, this is without a doubt, in my opinion, the most harmful exercise for a human being to participate in, as far as doing something incorrectly. There's a wide variety of things. I mean, we're talking about potentially, slipped discs, fractured vertebrae from just pulling incorrectly.
And you two want to do this.
Oh, I actually tweaked my back last week deadlifting, funny enough.
Well, I don't think that's funny.
Well, ironically enough,
There you go. That's a better
it
choice
wasn't
of word.
very funny to me either.
It's a risk-reward thing, but I guess since me and Jess have lifted for a long time, we've kind of, you accrue some experience to where you can say, okay, well, I could try that exercise. Or so you're not just starting out, because I certainly didn't do anything crazy when I first started out. It was mainly just bodybuilding types of movements, your curls, your chest, chin-ups, stuff like that. Very simple, stuff.
So is it against code if I ask you what your PRs are?
No.
Who wants to go first?
I'm just a little...
We'll let Jess, I'll go, Jess can go, I'll go. And
Yay.
then,
Okay. Okay.
Just for deadlifting.
For deadlifting,
Yes.
300 pounds.
300 pounds?
I'm at 545 pounds.
So what? Okay, and James?
665.
So double. And so you're not too far off.
Doubling my...
Yeah.
So
crazy.
what that means, if I passed out cold on the floor,
Yeah.
one of you should be able to grab me by the belt and take me somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. Okay, because that's what I mean. Why do they call it deadlift? Does anybody know?
I think it's just going back to how when you do it incorrectly. Well, even when you do it correctly, sometimes things don't always pan out. So I think I don't know the true origin, but I would imagine it comes from the simple fact that it's a pretty dangerous movement.
You think it's because of the movement?
Yeah.
It's just dead weight on the
You're
ground. I think.
deadlifting. Lifting dead weight on the ground, I guess. I mean,
There's other ones like skull crusher. It's where you get a bar and
I love
you'll
it.
be sitting on a bench, but you'll have the weight in your hands and kind of go leaning it onto your head, and
Okay.
then it'll be like a tricep extension where
Gotcha.
you kind of pull your arms back, and then
because if you drop that, it's going
Well,
on
you're
your
going to
skull.
crush your skull,
Yeah.
hence the name.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Now, I assumed that deadlift was because it was dead weight. Like you're picking it up from the ground with no movement.
Right, which to an extent that is correct, but it's not truly dead, considering the fact that for one, the weight isn't completely on the ground itself. You got to take into account that the bar is approximately 6 to 8 inches off the ground to start.
True.
And that every bar you utilize is going to be a little bit different. There's going to be some slack in the bar, and the moment you pull out that slack, it's basically not so much dead anymore at that point.
Interesting.
But definitely, yeah, I definitely don't know the origin of the name though.
See, now I'm getting the feeling that if I was to pass out cold, you guys would be like, well, if he was 8 inches off the ground, I'd be able to pick him up. But since he's flat on the ground, I don't know if I want to come pick him up because I can't get my arms under there.
Oh no.
I'm just kidding with you guys. So James, when you go to the meet, and you said your PR is 665,
Yep.
what wins the deadlift?
Usually, so it's all determined by weight class, and then it's the total amount.
Your
of
weight.
Yep.
Okay.
So I compete in the 308-pound weight class normally when I compete, and so with that, 665. When I can, my official meet PR is 635, and that did win the last meet I attended.
Oh,
and then my gym PR is 665. So it usually just depends on where you're at, what the competition looks like, and then definitely has probably even more to do with the federation that you're a part of.
So do you watch the Olympics for weightlifting?
It's a little bit different, just because with Olympic style weightlifting, the only things that they do are the clean and jerk and the overhead snatch.
So what's the clean and jerk? Because there's one that you pick the bar up off the ground and then it comes up to your shoulders, basically. Is that the clean and jerk?
Clean and jerk.
So
yep.
a deadlift, you pretty much stop at your waist for the average person.
Yeah.
Just stop at your waist. Okay. So deadlift is not in the Olympics.
Nope.
Yeah, that's based on powerlifting. Like powerlifting and Olympic lifting are two different things, basically. I think Olympic is where they combine strength with athleticism. Where if you're doing a clean and jerk, typically you're having to jump in the air, push weight up, and it's a whole body movement. Whereas deadlift, you're working the muscles, but you're really just doing one compound movement. So it's 2 compound or 3 compound movements in one lift for Olympic lifting.
So, like a swimmer has, before they go into a meet, they have a whole regimen that they have to do. Like they don't eat this, they do this. Do you have that when you're getting ready to go to a meet? Do you like stock up on something?
Yeah, most definitely. So like normally, when it comes to meat week, I try and eat as clean as humanly possible. I try and stay away from a wide fat as a whole. I try and stay away from non-complex carbohydrates, and really try and make sure that the protein sources I'm utilizing are pretty clean for the most part. So the week leading into my meet is really just a lot of chicken, rice, and vegetables.
Because why? Are you trying to make weight?
No, it really doesn't even have anything to do with making weight. I just want to ensure that not only is my body going to be firing on all cylinders the way it needs to, but that particularly any type of stomach issues, whether that be nerves or because I ate something bad moving into that time period, don't affect me negatively, because that definitely can be a problem, because if your stomach is hurting, deadlifts and squats are not going to be fun that day.
No.
Can you attest to that?
Yeah, there have been mistakes I've made. I'm lactose intolerant. If I eat like cheese with my chicken or something like that, my stomach gets a little upset. It's not the most fun thing in the world trying to squat or deadlift.
Well, off the air, I've never heard of a lactose intolerant person who eats that much cheese like you do.
Yeah.
Cheese and ice cream. I'm lactose intolerant. Anybody for some cheese covered ice cream? No, thank you.
Cheese flavored ice cream.
Besides, going back to what James said about the chicken, that is it's kind of like eating the cleanest and the most, you get the most energy out of it. It's like protein. It's the rice. Personally, I would always eat rice before I lift, because those foods are like the most energy nutrient types of foods for lifting. Yeah. So if I ate a bunch of candy before I lift, I'd probably just crash.
Well, yeah, that makes sense. Absolutely.
So that's where that comes from. So if James is doing a meat, he's probably going with fish or chicken or beef to get all those nutrients, and kind of it just makes your body ready to really be powerful, I guess.
Okay.
Put it that way. But that's a standard for all lifting is eat your broccoli, chicken, rice, and that's,
and you start a week out.
Yep, I usually start sometimes 2 weeks out if I've been, depending on how the training block hits me, just because usually during training, I still eat relatively clean, but there's a ton of debate on what types of things you should be eating. It really just depends on your body type, and over the years I've been able to kind of break down pretty well, I would say, what works for my body and what doesn't for the most part, while also still enjoying the food I eat, because I definitely don't like eating just chicken and rice every day for every meal. For me, it's really just going through everything is kind of it can be tough sometimes, just because the amount of calories I eat because of this, especially right now because I'm trying to cut again. About 4 or 5 months ago, I was eating roughly 7,000 calories a day, and now I'm down to about 3,000 calories a day. So
holy cow! And those are probably good calories, right?
Oh yeah, I eat nothing but whole eggs, beef, chicken, fish. Sometimes pork if I'm feeling frisky, and then rice and my vegetables.
Move over chicken.
Yeah,
it's pork day. So do you Rocky the eggs? Do you eat them raw?
Oh no. Well, I do sometimes. Sometimes.
Oh no, you're kidding.
Sometimes if I make a protein shake in the morning, I'll add raw egg whites, which is much safer for you to consume raw.
But that I mean, you know how he put them in a glass.
No, I'm definitely not doing that.
It's not a Rocky. No, we don't want to do that.
Have you done that?
Oh no.
Oh Nick, you have
I've definitely done it.
I need to try it though.
No, I've definitely done it.
You've done it?
Oh yeah.
No.
I think as if any true athlete who was adamant about doing everything they possibly could to be the best athlete, when you watched Rocky do that, you did it. I literally remember the first time I ever watched the first Rocky movie, I kid you not, the next day woke up to go train and literally had 6 eggs in a glass and just
no way.
I threw up. I threw without a doubt. It was not pleasant whatsoever.
Huh. But when I saw him do it, I almost threw up. I mean, I couldn't imagine doing it. Nick, you need to bring in eggs next time we do it and just crack them open and drink it right here
All right, sounds good.
on air.
On air,
Yeah.
sounds good. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, you can hold me to that for sure.
I'm going.
I wonder what vomiting
bring
on
the
air would
eggs.
sound like.
Yeah. Make for a funny sound bit to keep and use.
Oh yeah.
So there's no way I can do it.
If you haven't seen the video, anybody watching, you need to see Rocky where he drinks the eggs.
Oh yeah.
So now, after spending time with James, do either of you two have any questions? Are you more excited to be to go pro or semi-pro? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, I guess James is probably on the route where, or do you do it through the USPA?
Yep. I compete through the USPA.
United States Powerlifting Association. That's like the national one, but they break it down by state. So like, you could go Ohio or wherever you're from. And you basically just compete on the like regional level. And then if you do really good, then maybe you get up to the like national level or international level. That would be pro level powerlifting. But it's really hard because like you have to lift for so long. James was talking about the gear as well. So you can also compete with gear, or probably what I would do is compete raw, which is where you only have a belt or maybe a strap or something. So you can do like a lot of different equipment, and that'll help you obviously with lifting the weights. Like a belt helps you to pick up the weight, or wraps will help you like push more weight.
So when you say, is that a whole different class when you say raw?
It's like a division, like how would you say? It's like, you have a certain weight class, like say I'm like 240 pounds, it'd be like you do raw, and then you could also do fully like geared, basically. And totals can get really high in terms of that. So yeah, it's pretty cool because I've seen James. I'm like, holy crap, this guy's so big. And back when I saw James, I was probably like, I don't know, like 170 pounds.
Yeah, you were.
And now I'm sitting around like probably 220 or 30 at least. It's been bulking, but I'm approaching that range where it's like I could either go more on powerlifting route or see where it goes. But James definitely lifts a lot of weight. I don't know if the deadlift record at the college would be high or not, but I think he's probably around.
Do you know?
I don't know if we have any kind of record for that.
You should start writing it down somewhere. Make your own record.
That'd be so cool.
That would be kind of cool, wouldn't it? So I'm assuming, James, like if you win a meet, then you get an invitation to go to a different meet or not?
Yep. So unfortunately, I didn't win the last meet I competed in for the USPA. I didn't win overall, so that didn't qualify me for nationals.
Okay.
Just because I was battling an injury with squats, and squats didn't pan out the way it was. But I have a meet coming up here. Hopefully sometime in the end of May is when I'm planning. And if I hit the numbers I need to, I'll qualify for nationals without a doubt.
Awesome.
My gym PRs right now will rank me the strongest 308 in the state of Ohio, and will rank me as top 3 in the nation. So I'm pretty
Good for you.
pretty excited about that.
Yeah.
So
That we didn't know that when we started.
yeah,
Dang.
I got high aspirations. Yeah, I just need to if I can pull 700 on my deadlift, and if I can bench 450, I'll be sitting keen because I already squat over 700, so I'll be fine there.
Not to mention,
my
James had a ton
gosh.
of injuries. Like he's been like,
Yeah.
I broke my quad, or he
Broke a quad?
Yeah.
You're just making stuff up now.
Yeah. Well, he
Please
does.
tear
It's like every other week.
quad.
I'm like, hey, how you doing, James? Like, tore my hamstring, something like that. Or,
Well, that probably put you back then.
Yeah, actually, about almost 4 months ago now, I tore my hamstring. And that was a little rough. I took about 2-3 months, almost 3 months off. So I've actually only been back in the gym now for going on 2 months since that injury. And before that, I've been battling a whole lot of injuries. I've torn both ACLs twice. I don't have surgery, and not only have I torn both ACLs twice, but I actually have a rare disease in my knees called Sinning-Larsen-Johansson syndrome.
Well, that's not going to help.
Yeah, which has not helped because basically what that is a lot of the tendons in my knees never grew properly.
What?
Basically, Doc, it was funny, my junior year here at Defiance, Doc was basically like, yeah, you have this disease. What it means is basically around the age of 4 and 5, the tendons in your knees stopped growing and haven't grown
Wow.
since.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So I could call you baby knees.
Yep.
Huh.
Absolutely. And so unfortunately, the only real way to combat that was to get complete reconstructive surgery, which I was not doing, or basically, fight until they fix themselves. And I feel like I'm in a pretty solid place right now. I still get lingering knee pains, but I think that's more due to the ACL injuries as far as the symptoms go. But I'm feeling pretty good so far. Battling other minor aches and pains here and there every now and again, but I mean, that's just the process in and of itself.
Well, it would be wonderful. I mean, we got 3 people who are interested in weightlifting right here. It'd be wonderful. We could get a team or a club or something going here on campus.
That would be
Powerlifting
so fun.
would be awesome.
Yeah, that would
I would
be
love
cool.
that.
Well,
Good
James,
market.
thanks for being on the show.
Absolutely.
It was a lot of
It's good
fun.
having you.
Yeah.
Yeah, fun discussion.
I learned a lot of stuff.
Awesome.
This is fascinating to me.
And lifting's growing a lot. Like a lot of people, like just the fitness industry has grown like tremendously.
Yeah, I believe it.
So that's you see everything. So yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, should we wrap up?
Yep. It's been Nick, Jess, and Ryan with James. Have a good day, everyone.
See ya.